Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. Cabinet gives nod to merger of 4 film media units with NFDC through rationalization of infrastructure, manpower and other resources. Government approves major changes in post-matric scholarship for SC students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address centenary celebrations of Vishwa Bharati University Shantiniketan tomorrow through video conference. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 95.69% in the country. BJP emerges as single largest party, winning 75 seats in DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. National Conference gets 67, PDP 27 and Congress 26 seats. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news. The Cabinet today approved the merger of Films Division, Directorate of Film Festivals, National Film Archives of India and Children's Film Society India with the National Film Development Corporation NFDC. Briefing media in New Delhi after the Cabinet meeting, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said the merger of film media units under one corporation will lead to convergence of activities and resources and better coordination.
Films Division, Children Film Society, National Film Archives, Director of Film Festival, इन चारों संस्थाओं का NFDC में विलय करने का निर्णय हुआ है। लेकिन सभी जो काम चल रहे हैं, यानी जो फिल्म्स डिवीजन काम कर रही है, जो चिल्ड्रन फिल्म सोसाइटी काम कर रही है, जो डायरेक्टर फिल्म फेस्टिवल काम कर रहा है, जो NFI काम कर रहा है, वो सारे काम चलते रहेंगे, वो नहीं बंद होंगे। संस्था जो अलग अलग थी उसके जगह एक संस्था होगी।
The Cabinet also approved appointment of transaction advisor and legal advisor who will advise on the transfer of assets and employees and oversee all aspects of operationalization of the merger. The interests of the employees of all the concerned media units will be fully taken care of and no employee will be retrenched. Mr. Javadekar said the Cabinet has approved revision in guidelines for providing DTH services in India. He said DTH license will be issued for 20 years in place of present 10 years. License fee will be collected quarterly basis instead of on annual basis. DTH operators will be permitted to operate to a maximum of 5% of its total channel carrying capacity as permitted platform channels. There will be sharing of infrastructure between DTH operators. The minister said guidelines have been amended to allow 100% FDI in DTH services. Mr. Javadekar said the Cabinet also approved an ordinance for extending National Capital Territory of Delhi Law's Special Provisions Act for another 3 years, giving protection to unauthorized colonies from punitive action in Delhi.
2011 में कानून बना था नेशनल कैपिटल टेरिटरी ऑफ दिल्ली लॉ। ये 2014 में समाप्त हुआ। हमने 2014 में उसको 3 साल के लिए आगे बढ़ाया, यानी ज्यादा मुदत दी 3 साल, फिर से एक बार 2020 तक दी। अब चूंकि शीतकालीन सत्र नहीं हो रहा है तो उसके लिए और 3 साल देने का अध्यादेश को आज मंजूरी दी है। अब वो राष्ट्रपति जी के मंजूरी के बाद लागू होगा।
Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs CCEA has also approved 59,048 crore rupees post-matric scholarship scheme for more than 4 crore scheduled caste students in 5 years. Briefing media, Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot said the central government will spend 35,534 crore rupees for it, which is 60%, and the balance 40% will be spent by the state governments.
अब जो शेयर पैटर्न रहेगा वो 60% केंद्र देगा और 40% राज्य मिलाएगा। इसका परिणाम ये होगा कि अभी तक हम 1100 करोड़ रुपए सालाना एवरेज 2-3 साल का देते थे और अब देंगे सीधा 5 गुना बढ़ा करके, और ये 5 गुना बढ़ा करके देंगे तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हम इसी साल से 5,000 करोड़ की धनराशि से अधिक की धनराशि छात्रवृत्ति के रूप में राज्यों को देंगे।
It is estimated that 1.36 crore such poorest students who are currently not continuing their education beyond 10th standard would be brought into the higher education system in the next 5 years. The central share in the scheme would be released in DBT mode into the bank accounts of the students. Central assistance of 1,100 crore rupees annually during 2017 and 18 to 2019 and 20 would be increased more than 5 times to be around 6,000 crore rupees annually during 2020 and 21 to 2025 to 26. The Cabinet also gave its nod for signing the revised air services agreement between India and Philippines. It also gave its approval for signing the revised air services agreement between India and Afghanistan. The revised air services agreements have the potential to spur greater trade, investment, tourism and cultural exchanges between the two countries, bringing it in tune with the developments in the civil aviation sector. Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, has welcomed the Cabinet decision to merge Information and Broadcasting Ministry's media units related to the film sector into a single entity. CII said this decision further reinforces the government's commitment to minimum government, maximum governance. It said the government's step to integrate its film sector media units into one single body is a reform in the right direction. It will not only bring synergy into the sector, but also facilitate the growth of the sunrise sector. FICCI President Uday Shankar said it will bring efficiency, synergy and growth to the sector. Welcoming government decision on DTH, Mr. Shankar said it will not only provide certainty to the DTH sector, but will go a long way in bringing more clarity and remove hurdles in the sector. CII also welcomed the Cabinet decision on revision and guidelines for providing DTH services in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that today's Cabinet decision on post-matric scholarship will ensure greater educational access to youngsters belonging to SC communities. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, ensuring top quality and affordable education to our youth is an important focus area for our government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the centenary celebrations of the Vishwa Bharati University Shantiniketan tomorrow through video conferencing. The Prime Minister is the Chancellor of the university. The Governor of West Bengal, Jagdeep Dhankar, and Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank will also be present on the occasion. Founded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in 1921, Vishwa Bharati was declared to be a central university and an institution of national importance by an Act of Parliament in May 1951.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release the next installment of financial benefit under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan on Friday through video conferencing. With the push of a button, the Prime Minister will enable the transfer of more than 18,000 crore rupees to more than 9 crore beneficiary farmer families. The Prime Minister will also have a conversation with farmers from 6 states during the event. The farmers will share their experiences about PM Kisan and also on various other initiatives taken by the government for the welfare of farmers. Union Agriculture Minister will also be present on the occasion. Under the PM Kisan scheme, a financial benefit of 6,000 rupees per year is provided to small and marginal farmers, payable in 3 equal 4-monthly installments of 2,000 rupees each. The fund is transferred directly to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. Speaking about the event, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said the Modi government is committed to strengthening the agriculture sector. He said representatives of the Confederation of NGOs of Rural India today met him and submitted 3,13,363 signatures taken across 1 lakh villages in support of the 3 farm laws enacted by the centre recently. The Madhya Pradesh government will organize Kisan welfare programs on the occasion of the birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee on December 25th. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is transferring an amount of 18,000 crore rupees to the bank accounts of around 9 crore farmers under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Nidhi. This includes 78 lakh farmers of Madhya Pradesh. The Chief Minister said that the Madhya Pradesh government has added 2 additional installments of 2,000 rupees each in the scheme for the benefit of farmers of the state. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Chief Minister Shri Chauhan said that Prime Minister Shri Modi's address will be broadcast all over the state. This virtual program of transferring the amount of Pradhan Mantri Kisan Nidhi to the farmers will be held at block and panchayat level also. Chief Minister Shri Chauhan informed that Madhya Pradesh government has been continuously working for farmers' welfare. Initiative was also taken to provide relief amount of rupees 1,600 crores to 35 lakh farmers of the state. Under this, funds are being transferred to the farmers' accounts. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today led the nation in paying tribute to 5th Prime Minister of the country, Chaudhry Charan Singh. Mr. Modi said Charan Singh devoted his entire life for development of villages and farmers in the country. He said during his tenure, the former Prime Minister had launched many farmer-friendly policies. On the occasion of birth anniversary of the former Prime Minister, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is inspired by Chaudhry Charan Singh and will not let farmers get hurt. Union Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Prahlad Joshi and Union Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal led parliamentarians in paying floral tribute at the portrait of the former Prime Minister in the Central Hall of Parliament House today. December 23rd is observed as the Kisan Divas or Farmers' Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of the 5th Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar paid tributes to the former Prime Minister Chaudhry Charan Singh on the occasion of his birth anniversary today. Mr. Tomar also extended greetings of Farmers' Day to every countryman. He reiterated that Narendra Modi-led NDA government is fully committed towards the welfare of farmers in the country. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said that new farm laws are very much beneficial for the farmers, but the people who do not want the development of the country and farmers are opposing them. He said some people are misguiding farmers, but farm laws are in the interest of the farmers. Mr. Adityanath was addressing a farmers' gathering at Lok Bhavan, Lucknow this morning. The Chief Minister said that the agriculture mandis will continue to work, MSP will also continue, and there will be no harm to farmers by the agriculture laws. He said Prime Minister Modi-led union government has launched highest number of welfare schemes for farmers after independence. He said new farm laws enable farmers to sell their product in any mandi at any place.
ये बार बार कहा जा रहा है कि एमएसपी समाप्त नहीं होगी, मंडियां समाप्त नहीं होंगी, लेकिन तब भी इसके नाम पर गुमराह करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। ईपीएफसी एक्ट के अंतर्गत ये प्रावधान दिया जा रहा है कि किसान अब केवल मंडी में ले जाने के लिए अपने उत्पाद के लिए मजबूर नहीं होगा। अगर उसे लगता है कि लखनऊ की मंडी से ज्यादा दाम उसे बाराबंकी की मंडी में मिल सकते हैं या बाराबंकी से अच्छा दाम उसे दिल्ली की मंडी में मिल सकते हैं, बिना किसी टैक्स के, बिना किसी सरचार्ज के किसान अपने उत्पाद को देश के अंदर किसी भी मंडी में ले जाकर के बेच सकता है और ज्यादा मुनाफा कमा सकता है.
Mr. Adityanath said government is working on the lines of great farmers leader late Chaudhry Charan Singh.
In Karnataka, the Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayana interacted with farmers as part of Farmers' Day celebrations. Talking to farmers in Magadi Taluk, Dr. Ashwath Narayana informed them about various schemes and programs launched for the farmers by central and state governments. He said agri-marketing reforms introduced by the government will emancipate farmers from the clutches of middlemen. The reforms, he added, will create a system where the buyers will approach the farmers directly to purchase the produce. More from our Bangalore correspondent.
Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayana appealed to the farmers that they should not be misled by the propaganda by a few political parties against the farming reforms. In another event attended by Cooperative Minister S.T. Somashekar, the APMC yard traders interacted with the minister. He informed them that the APMC yards will not be closed down by the government and added that APMC cess has been reduced from 1 rupee 30 paise to 1 rupee for the convenience of traders. The agri-market traders appealed to the minister to impose cess on the proposed private mandis similar to the APMC cess, and the traders in the government yard should be given a level playing field at par with the private players. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
The New Services Division brings glimpses of the year that was in our special series Year-Ender. Reforms in agriculture sector and doubling farmers' income have been at the forefront of NDA government's agenda. Farm laws that were brought recently have many significant provisions for the farmers' empowerment and welfare. Virtually addressing a Kisan Sammelan in Madhya Pradesh on the 18th of this month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted several measures for the benefit of farmers. He reassured farmers that minimum support price and APMCs will continue.
अगर कानून लागू होने के बाद भी एमएसपी की घोषणा हुई, एमएसपी पर सरकारी खरीदी हुई, उन्हीं मंडियों में हुई, तो क्या कोई समझदार इस बात को स्वीकार करेगा कि एमएसपी बंद हो जाएगी? और इसलिए मैं कहता हूं, इससे बड़ा कोई झूठ नहीं हो सकता, इससे बड़ा कोई षड्यंत्र नहीं.
The Prime Minister also emphasized that Indian farmers should have access to the modern facilities available to the farmers in the developed countries, and it cannot be delayed any longer. Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Narendra Singh Tomar, has reiterated the resolve of the government and its commitment for a pro-farmer policy.
एमएसपी चलती रहेगी, इस पर कोई खतरा नहीं है। एमएसपी की रबी और खरीफ की जो खरीद है इस वर्ष भी बहुत अच्छे से हुई है और रबी की फसल की बुआई के समय एमएसपी घोषित कर दी है। एमएसपी को नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में 1.5 गुना किया गया है। खरीद का वॉल्यूम भी बढ़ाया गया है। पहले गेहूं और धान पर ही खरीद होती थी, अब दलहन और तिलहन पर भी खरीद की जा रही है और एमएसपी से किसानों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा सुरक्षा मिल सके और उसमें अधिक पैसा हम खर्च कर सकें। इस दृष्टि से नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार की प्रतिबद्धता पहले भी थी, आज भी है और आने वाले कल में रहेगी।
Our correspondent takes a look at the significant provisions of the Progressive Farm Laws.
Before these farm laws, the farmers had to sell notified farm produce only in APMC Mandi, but now they have freedom of choice to sell in Mandi or any other seller, unlike Mandi system, where farmers have to accept whatever the price offered to them. Under the new system, farmers can bargain for the price even at doorstep. They will be able to sell their produce to merchant wherever they get a higher price. Besides, farmers can sell their produce within the state or anywhere else in the country. As there will be no Mandi fee and other charges borne by producers and consumers, they will have large savings. Earlier, the farmers could sell fruits and vegetables outside of APMC Mandi, but now this freedom has been extended to all agri-produce and all over the country. Contract farming has been allowed nationally on terms favorable to farmers, under which the contractor cannot end the agreement without full payment. However, farmers can end agreements anytime they wish. Besides, farmers have also been made partners of value chain. The rural farm youth will get the opportunity to trade and run supply chain. With these new provisions, the minimum support price and APMC mandis will also continue along. Remarkably, after passing of farm legislations, central government had increased the MSP in September this year, which shows its commitment to the welfare of farmers of the country. Divakar, Air News, Delhi.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Cabinet gives nod to merger of 4 film media units with NFDC through rationalization of infrastructure, manpower and other resources. Government approves major changes in post-matric scholarship for SC students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address centenary celebrations of Vishwa Bharati University, Shanti Niketan tomorrow through video conference. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 95.69% in the country, and BJP emerges as single largest party, winning 75 seats in DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. National Conference gets 67, PDP 27 and Congress 26 seats. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The Ministry of Health has issued Standard Operating Procedure SOP for epidemiological surveillance and response for a new variant of SARS-CoV-2 virus, which has been reported by the Government of the United Kingdom to World Health Organization WHO. This variant is estimated by European Centre for Disease Control to be more transmissible and affecting younger population. This variant is defined by a set of 17 changes or mutations. One of the most significant mutations is in the spike protein that the virus uses to bind to the human ACE2 receptor. Changes in this part of the spike protein may result in the virus becoming more infectious and spreading more easily between people. The SOP describes the activities to be undertaken at the point of entry and in the community for all international passengers who have travelled from or transited from UK in the past 4 weeks from 25th November till date. Any reference to testing in this SOP implies RT-PCR testing only. Flights from UK are suspended temporarily from 23rd December till 31st December or till further orders. All the passengers travelling from or transiting through airports in UK and disembarking in India during the intervening period from 21st to 23rd December would be subjected to RT-PCR test on arrival. In case of a positive sample, it is recommended that spike gene-based RT-PCR test should also be performed. Passengers testing positive will be isolated in an institutional isolation facility in a separate isolation unit coordinated by the respective state health authorities.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 95.69%. During the last 24 hours, more than 26,000 COVID patients have recovered. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 96,63,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 2.86% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is around 2,89,000. During the past 24 hours, 23,950 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 1,99,000. In the same period, 333 deaths were reported, taking the toll to over 1,46,444. In Karnataka, the night curfew has been imposed starting today from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. till January 2nd in the coming year. The movement of individuals will remain strictly prohibited between 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. However, essential activities like goods vehicle and truck movement will continue. All industries can operate with 50% staff. Night bus, train and air services will be allowed, along with movement of passengers in taxis and autos. The State Health and Medical Education Minister, Dr. K. Sudhakar, said that a vigil will be kept on passengers who returned from the United Kingdom in the backdrop of reports of a new strain of coronavirus found there. He informed that 2,500 passengers have arrived from the UK to the state between November 25th to December 22nd, and RT-PCR tests will be conducted on them if found symptomatic. He said the genetic sequence of the virus found in the incoming passengers will be studied by IISc, NIMHANS and other two institutions to find out whether they are the new variants of COVID virus. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has instructed that the people who have returned after 9th December in the state from countries affected by the new form of coronavirus should be compulsorily subjected to RT-PCR test. He was addressing a high-level review meeting on COVID-19 at Lucknow today. The Chief Minister also instructed that the effective system of management, treatment and prevention from COVID-19 be continued in the state.
Almost all the festivals of the year 2020 were celebrated with simplicity against the backdrop of the coronavirus. The Maharashtra government has made a similar appeal to the people on the occasion of Christmas festival, which is just a few days away. Some states in the country, including Maharashtra, are already taking precautionary measures after a new variant of coronavirus was found in Britain. A report from our Mumbai correspondent.
State Home Minister Anil Deshmukh today appealed to all Christians to celebrate this year's Christmas in a simple way. According to the guidelines, Mass held in a local church should not include more than 50 people. Deshmukh said crowding should be avoided in the church and physical distance should be maintained. The use of masks is mandatory for everyone. Deshmukh said no more than 10 people should be included in a choir. He said different mics should be used and physical distance should be observed. Senior citizens over 60 years of age and children under 10 years should avoid going out and celebrate Christmas at home. He added that religious events or processions that attract crowds as well as fireworks should not be organized. He also appealed to organize the Thanksgiving Mass on 31st December around 7 p.m. or earlier. Sweetie Jain, AR News, Mumbai.
The Delhi High Court today directed the Delhi government to ensure that adequate testing and follow-up checkup of the people diagnosed with COVID-19 is done for passengers arriving from United Kingdom. Hearing a petition, court also directed the city government to follow the latest guidelines on COV-2 issued by the centre. Observing that many passengers had travelled to India from the UK, a division bench of Justices Hima Kohli and Subramaniam Prasad asked the Delhi government to take steps to avoid further spread of any infection.
In the first ever District Development Council DDC polls held in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, result of 278 out of 280 seats have been declared. The BJP has emerged as the single largest party, winning 75 seats, followed by National Conference with 67 seats, People's Democratic Party 27, Congress 26, J&K Apni Party 12, J&K People's Conference 8, CPIM 5, JKPM 3, PDF and J&K National Panthers Party 2 seats each, and Bahujan Samaj Party 1. Independents have won 50 seats. State Election Commissioner K.K. Sharma, while addressing a press conference in Jammu this evening, said that the counting of votes has concluded and results of 278 seats have been declared. barring Drugmula in Kupwara and Hajan A in Bandipora districts. He said counting was deferred in these two constituencies in view of a question on the eligibility of contesting candidates. However, he said a final decision in this regard will be taken after considering all aspects. Senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad has credited the approach and policies of the Narendra Modi-led government for the resounding poll results of the Jammu and Kashmir District Development Council elections. He said the fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party emerged as the single largest party with the highest number of votes polled in these elections proves the immense trust and faith posed by the people of Kashmir in the policies of the centre. Mr. Prasad said the results depict that the Kashmiri people have embraced development-related politics and have given a clear mandate against separatists. He said the DDC election results have also proved that the Gupkar alliance is no match for the BJP.
Is the victory of democracy, is the victory of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and the victory of the larger narrative about Jammu and Kashmir which Narendra Modi ji has thought about that state. बीजेपी सबसे बड़ी पार्टी बनकर आई है और 39 इंडिपेंडेंट जीते हैं जिसमें कई भाजपा समर्थित हैं। मैं जम्मू कश्मीर के आवाम का खुशामदीद कहूंगा, अभिनंदन करूंगा।
DRDO today conducted the successful trial of the medium-range surface-to-air MR SAM missile from Chandipur off the Odisha coast. This is the army version of the MR SAM missile, which has been designed jointly by India and Israel. A report from a Bhubaneswar correspondent.
Bansi, a target missile, was launched from the launchpad 1 of the integrated test range at Chandipur at 52 minutes past 3 p.m. in the afternoon today. Barely 3 minutes later, MRSAM was fired only to hit the target successfully. The missile is designed to provide the armed forces with air defense capabilities against a variety of airborne targets at medium ranges. With Gangadhar Raut, Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh lauded the efforts of DRDO and associated team members involved in the mission and said that India has attained a high level of capability in the indigenous design and development of advanced weapon systems. The plight of 23 crew members of Indian ship Jaganand is far from over as Chinese government today reiterated its unwillingness to allow a crew change citing epidemic control requirements at ports. The ship laden with huge consignment of Australian coal is stuck at China's Jingtak port since June as China is not allowing the ship to unload the cargo from Australia with which it is locked in a political tussle. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital will have dense fog in the morning while temperature will hover between 4 and 23 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 17 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky and temperature will vary between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness fog in the morning and have mainly clear sky later. The city will observe minimum temperature of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 25 degrees. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between -4 degrees Celsius and 9 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature will be 7 degrees Celsius while maximum will be 21 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. Leh is expected to have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be -13 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 0 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night. The temperature will vary between -3 degrees Celsius to 7 degrees. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will move from 1 to 14 degrees Celsius. In an effort to guard against fake news being circulated on various platforms, we bring you our segment on Fact Check and Mythbusters. The government has termed a website claiming to be the official website of the National Recruitment Agency and inviting applications for various posts to be fake. It said the National Recruitment Agency, NRA, has not issued any advertisement or notice for recruitment against vacancies in the government as yet. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Cabinet gives nod to merger of 4 film media units with NFTC through rationalization of infrastructure, manpower and other resources. Government approves major changes in post-matric scholarship for SC students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address centenary celebrations of Vishwa Bharati University Shanti Niketan tomorrow through video conference. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 95.69% in the country.
BJP emerges as single largest party, winning 75 seats in DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. National Conference gets 67, PDP 27 and Congress 26 seats. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.